It's a beautiful day in Pittsburgh, and today we celebrate Roberto Clemente Day. Susan Wagner, who is here, who is the artist that built this beautiful sculpture, so that we always remember one of the greatest heroes, whose greatest accomplishments came off the field, not a Hall of Famer on the field, but proved that a humanitarian is a person who always will give themselves for others. You know, I had the blessed childhood of growing up right up the street from the Clemente family, and had the opportunity to play Little League with Roberto Jr. And I can tell you that even back in that very early times in the 1970s, you always knew there was something very, very special about the Clemente family. They were the type of people that you wanted to see and recognize as Pittsburghers, the type of people that gave their heart and never gave away from the city that they loved. And they had the opportunity to be anywhere, but they chose to stay in Pittsburgh in those years after. And you know, it's always an honor when they come back home, because we now have the opportunity to give our heart and to recognize the important factor that Roberto played in not only changing baseball, but changing this city and changing this world. So many years later, and he is still recognized as a leader worldwide, and his fame only gets more and more, and the recognition only becomes greater. And how proud are we to say that Roberto is a Pittsburgher? So with that, whereas in 1954, the Pittsburgh Pirates made one of their best decisions by drafting young Roberto Clemente to the team. And whereas thanks to Roberto Clemente's determination to excel and his cannon arm, he led the Pirates to 2 World Series titles, endearing him to Pittsburghers who grew to love and respect him during the 18 seasons he played for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And whereas it was Roberto Clemente's work off the field, including extensive service in Latin America and the Caribbean, that polishes his legacy and inspired Major League Baseball to initiate the Clemente Award, given to players who share Roberto's belief in the value of helping others. Sadly, Roberto lost his life while on a flight bringing aid to Nicaraguan earthquake victims in 1972. And whereas a sense of duty, service, and leadership was evident in Roberto Clemente's enlistment to the U.S. Marine Corps after the 1958 season, serving until 1964, and was inducted into the Marine Corps Sports Hall of Fame in 2003. And whereas during National Hispanic Heritage Month, Pittsburgh pays special recognition to the contributions of our Hispanic community members, from Roberto Clemente, the first Hispanic player to reach 3,000 career hits and be elected to the Hall of Fame, to the new wave of Latinos who will help build the next chapter in Pittsburgh's history. And whereas in the spirit of bringing together immigrant and U.S.-born community members to build a city where residents of all backgrounds have the opportunity to realize their full potential, Pittsburgh is proud to recognize Roberto Clemente in honor of National Welcoming Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, William Peduto, Mayor of the City of Pittsburgh, do hereby declare September 16th, 2015, Roberto Clemente Day here in our most livable city of Pittsburgh. That is yours. Thank you. Can you say a few words?
Yes.
Get on the other side.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everybody here. Pittsburgh is our second home forever. and we really appreciate, this honor to the family. And our heart is with Pittsburgh always. Then they will say something because I really have emotion and it's hard for me to.
On behalf of the people of Pittsburgh, our heart is always with you.
Okay, thank you. I love you.
Well, thank you very much for this honor. we are as much Puerto Rican as we're Pittsburghers as well. And I've been coming to Pittsburgh since I was 6 months old. And the love that you have always shared and the anecdotes that you have always shared with the family has really taught us more about our father, about why he was so loved, why still today, 43 years later after his death, is stronger than ever. His legacy is stronger than ever. It's thanks to all of you. We see all the 21 jerseys on TV. People always talk about it. It's amazing. It seems like he was born here in Pittsburgh. So we really open our hearts and invite everyone, whenever you come to us and approach us, you always say, you must be tired of listening, to the stories. I said, we never, ever get tired, ever. So thanks so much for the love that you have given the family and embrace us.
Well, I'll be very brief, but I want to share something I read after a voting of, it was 3 men that played the game of baseball, and there was a voting to enshrine a photo in the Smithsonian Institute, the museum in Washington, D.C. And it was Sandy Koufax, Babe Ruth, and Roberto Clemente. Roberto Clemente won the voting by landslide. It was unbelievable. So about 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, the photo is actually now in the Smithsonian. And there was a lot of, articles that came out about it. And one of the things that what really caught my eye was the fact that one of the writers said that the only flaw that Roberto Clemente had was to play in Pittsburgh. I know. Oh, hold on. So, it was very funny to me because this lady had a comment, and it really, I smiled after I read it. And she says, well, if the only flaw that Roberto Clemente had was to play in Pittsburgh was because he played in the perfect city. He played in a city that actually could love him more than anywhere else in the world. And I agree with that. And that's why we are from Pittsburgh. We're Pittsburghicans. Love the city. Thank you so much.
All right.